Hello and welcome to Profiles with Paulette Payne. I'm your host, Paulette Payne. So I have to be honest. I have to be very honest with you tonight. This show came about because I myself needed some help. So whenever the mask policy was implemented in my city, in my city, because it's not in the state, unfortunately, but in my city, about 2 or 3 weeks in, I noticed my skin was starting to just get really bad. Bumps and things popping up everywhere, but mostly on my cheeks and on my chin. So I came across an article and it was about maskne. And I thought, maskne, this is a pretty interesting concept. Let me read on. And after I read it, I thought, oh my gosh, people I know need this information. And so here we are. But before we get started, if you're joining me for the first time, I want to share a little bit of the backstory as it relates to profiles. So this live broadcast is the virtual iteration of the show that I did 8 years ago in the studio prior to COVID. And it was a joy. It was an opportunity for me to use my gifts, meet wonderful people, and share stories and inspiration. So fast forward to April of this year when COVID hit our shores. I wanted to know, what can I do? What can I do to be of service? And from that question and certainly that prayer, a 4-part series around COVID was birthed. Fast forward a couple of months after that to May when George Floyd was murdered. God rest his soul. Another 4-part series developed, and it was about racial injustice and disenfranchisement of Black people in America, systemic racism. And so after those series were produced and aired, I thought, oh my gosh, this needs to go a little bit further. And so here we are with Profiles. It airs every Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern. 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. Central. And so tonight, we have a great show in store for you. I'm joined by my friend, college classmate, Inga Bennett. She is let me bring her into the show. She is a certified dermatology family nurse practitioner. And we're talking about face masks. And I'm sure many of you who are watching have had issues with your skin since wearing masks. So tonight, Inga's gonna help us understand why and what to do about it. Inga, thank you so much for joining tonight.
Thank you, Paulette. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Now, Inga, talk to us a little bit about what you do. What's the differentiation between a dermatology family nurse practitioner and a dermatologist? Talk to us a little bit about that.
Sure. So a dermatology nurse practitioner is a healthcare provider as well as a physician. So the difference between a nurse practitioner and a physician is the level of education. Physicians typically go to school a little longer than nurse practitioners, and nurse practitioners start out as registered nurses and then advance their education a couple years longer than your typical registered nurse education.
I see. So how long have you been in this industry?
In the medical industry, let me calculate, almost 19 years. So I did 14 years as a registered nurse, and I focused at that point in women's and children's health. And I've been a dermatology nurse practitioner for almost 5 years now. So a little over 4 years, about 4.5 years.
So you bring experience from the first half of your career to the second half of your career, which makes you an expert, which is why you're here.
Thank you, Paulette.
You're welcome. But it's true. The truth sets you free. Now, before the show, we were talking about your experiences in diagnosing maskne. But first, let's talk about what is it and why are these masks causing so many skin issues?
So maskne is a type of inflammatory acne. The medical term for it is called acne mechanica. And it's typically the type of acne you see with athletes. It's caused by pressure, friction from the mask, heat from us breathing into the mask. And so with all of that going on, it's causes the potential to cause breakouts.
Okay. And so I know you were telling me that you had diagnosed someone. Talk to us about what that consultation or what that visit looks like, and
Sure.
the steps you take, and how you know that this, in fact, is the cause of the person's breakout.
Sure. So maskne typically occurs in the areas where the mask touches. And so this patient specifically had inflammatory papules, or the red bumps with the white heads on them. We call them pustules in in dermatology, but some people call them white heads.
Mm-hmm.
And this patient had those in the area where her masks touched. And we just kind of went over a new regimen for her to help calm all of that down.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And what did that regimen look like?
Gentle cleansers, gentle moisturizers, gentle practices when it comes to how you cleanse your face. A lot of people think that when you break out, that you just scrub, you pop all your bumps and you scrub away. Well, no, that's not the answer. Okay, you want to be as gentle to your face as possible. And the most gentle tools you have for cleansing your face are these, your God-given tools, your fingers. So when you wash your face, you don't need to wash it with a washcloth. You just use your fingers. So I'm going to kind of demonstrate, okay? So you put the water, you put water on your face, you put your cleanser in your hand, work it around a little bit, and then you just apply it to the face. So afterwards, you rinse your face with the water, and then you take a dry washcloth and you just pat your face dry. You don't scrub it dry. You pat it dry.
You need to tell me, when I watch skin cleaning commercials and the women are just, they just put the water on their face. That's all I need to do. I don't need to get my cleansing machine and
no, you don't, because what happens is when you apply abrasive cleansers and exfoliants to the face, and even use abrasive tools like the brushes or the scrapers or whatever is out there that is being advertised, you irritate the irritation that's already going on. So if your face is already irritated, you're just going to make it worse.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Now, for people like me who have oily skin, and sure, they are, I have seen bumps here and there breakouts since I've been wearing the mask. And that, coupled with oily skin, can create its own set of issues. Mm-hmm. How does skin type impact not only maskne, but just skin acne in general?
Well, sometimes oilier skin types are more prone to acne. However, with everyone wearing these masks, you got this contact with this thing that your face is not used to. You got to keep in mind as well that these masks need to be cleaned frequently, every single day. And I know that sounds like a lot, and it is. It's a lot. But if you can't clean it every day, switch them out. Have multiples of them. But I recommend that you wear a mask that is made of breathable material, like this. This is 100% cotton. This is actually an allergy-free mask, so it won't break you out. When you wash your mask, and I'll talk about the company that I purchased that from as well. But when you cleanse your masks, don't just throw them into the wash with your clothes and wash them with your regular detergent. You want to use something that's gentle, something that's free and clear, something that is without fragrance, because you got to keep in mind that regular laundry detergent that we all love to smell good, right? Mm-hmm. But if you put that detergent, if you wash your mask in that detergent and you have that detergent rubbing on your face all day, it can cause some serious irritation. So you want to make sure that you cleanse your mask in a free and clear laundry detergent, liquid preferably. I mostly recommend all free and clear, and I'm not getting paid to mention that. But all free and clear is great. And after you cleanse your mask, you need to make sure you let it air dry thoroughly. You don't want to put a wet mask on your face, because there's moisture there. And then accompanied or coupled with you breathing into the mask, there's moisture there as well. So you want to make sure that your mask is completely dry before you put it on your face.
Now, you've intrigued me, particularly with that allergy-free mask. Let's roll back a little bit and talk a little bit about that. Where do you get that mask from?
So there's a company, and there again, I'm not getting paid to discuss this company, but it's called Cotonique. And I don't know if this is can you read this correctly? Are my letters backwards?
If it is, because I can't see anything from this.
It's called Cotonique, and it's they sell allergy-free apparel. And it's a great mask. It actually has a little slit in it for you to put your filter. And I think there come 3 to a pack. And so you can just change them out and wash them frequently during the week.
That's good information. In my household, of course, we're wearing our masks. Typically just put them in a mesh bag and dump it in with everything else.
With the regular laundry, right.
Consider a clear laundry detergent, much less free one. That's good information. You guys, please take these notes. We have a question from the audience. How does makeup play? Oh, I'm sorry. Go on, Inga.
No, I said sure. Go ahead.
This person wants to know, how does makeup play a part in acne? I want to recouch that. How important is it to maintain good skincare if you choose to wear makeup?
Gentle skincare is extremely important, and that's whether you're wearing makeup or not. I think that a lot of times what some fail to realize is that this is going to be with us for the rest of our lives. So we have to take care of it. We can't just not wash our faces. We have to wash our faces, and not just in the morning, but at night before we go to bed. And you want to use something gentle. Here again, I'm not being paid to mention this, but this is my go-to, Cetaphil. You want to use something gentle, non-abrasive, non-comedogenic, meaning that it won't cause acne. It won't make you break out. So Cetaphil, CeraVe, Vanity Cream, which is an excellent option as well. Those are 3 of my go-tos. But go ahead.
It can be purchased over the counter.
All of this is over the counter. I love Vanity Cream. Vanity Cream can be purchased. All of these actually can be purchased in a bar or a liquid. It's just your personal preference, whichever you choose. But you want to make sure you have a clean slate, a good, a gentle foundation. And I don't mean a makeup foundation. I mean, you want your skin to be nice and clean at all times, especially in the morning and at night. But you'll cleanse in the morning. After you cleanse your face, after you pat dry, you still give it a couple minutes to dry completely. Then you want to apply a sunscreen moisturizer. And yes, we need sunscreen too. So I recommend that you wear a sunscreen that's SPF 30 or greater. But that's just to help maintain the integrity of the skin and help to keep you protected throughout the day, because a lot of times we're not wearing our masks when we're outside, when we're transferring from one area to another, or when we're going from the car to a building and vice versa, we're not wearing a mask. So we are getting sun exposure, whether we're riding in the car or we're walking, because we're getting it through our car windows this way and this way. And also, if your blinds are open in your home, or if you're in an office by the window, then you're getting sun exposure. So in the morning, it's just important to make sure you wear a gentle sunscreen along with your, and just make that part of your regular skincare routine. That's
good information. One of the viewers wanted to know, the products that you just mentioned, are that for universal skin, or?
Yes. This is my skincare routine. Morning and night with Cetaphil. This is what I cleanse with. In the morning, I use a gentle sunscreen. And then I put my makeup on. And I don't really get too much into the type of makeup you should wear. If you choose to wear makeup, that's fine. I'm okay with that. There are some non-comedogenic makeup brands out there, but I just leave it up to the individual to choose what you want to wear. There are a plethora of brands, as you know, but I don't necessarily think that makeup breaks one out. Now, if you're noticing that you have worn makeup, a particular brand, at some point, and you tolerated it well, and then you switch, or you try makeup for the first time and you break out, or you switch to a new brand and you break out, then you might be a little sensitive to that particular brand. Otherwise, I don't have any particular recommendation for any makeup specifically.
Now, for those who are used to going to a dermatologist, and with this pandemic, people are leery, myself included, about doing some of the things that you once did prior to, all of the shutdowns and things. For those who may have, lost employment and can no longer go to the dermatologist, are these steps that they should follow day and night? And then when they're able to go back to the dermatologist, would you imagine that it's easy, or it would be simple to just pick back up their dermatology routine, or should they stick with the over-the-counter products?
All of that is based on the individual. So if the over-the-counter routine is working for you, stick with that. Your skincare routine does not have to be this big, long, drawn-out, elaborate system of products. I too was once a product junkie. I love my products, and I would try any and everything. But what I've learned since I've been in derm is to keep it simple. You don't need a whole lot of products. You don't need a toner. You don't need an exfoliator. All you need is a gentle cleanser, a sunscreen moisturizer, and a nighttime moisturizer. This is my nighttime moisturizer.
Okay.
Cetaphil. That's it. That's what I use on my skin.
Now let's talk about a little bit. We might need to talk a lot about it, but from a health perspective and what you put into your body, is it true that the more water that you drink, the cleaner your skin will look, the clearer your skin will look, the types of foods you eat? From a medical perspective, in terms of dermatology, how much weight does that carry?
So you can never go wrong with a healthy, well-balanced diet, drinking lots of water, eating lean meats, and green leafy vegetables. I will always recommend that. But there is no evidence, or not a lot of evidence, to support that a specific diet impacts the acne, or whether or not that you'll break out. Now, I said all that to say there are a few studies out there that support a low glycemic index diet is the patients who were on that low glycemic index diet were having fewer breakouts, and patients who were on a high glycemic index diet were having more breakouts. But it did not specifically pinpoint that these foods were the main cause of the acne. Now, in order to be able to, let me dial it back a little bit. So glycemic index, foods that are high glycemic index are foods that spike your blood sugar really fast. And it's stuff like white flour, bread, things that we all love, sugar, cereals, sodas, all that good stuff that's so bad. And then a low glycemic index consists of foods that causes the blood sugar to increase slowly. And they would be vegetables, some fruits, and things that are healthy. But what the American Academy of Dermatology recommends is that you monitor what you're eating. And so if you notice that if you've eaten a specific thing, like if you just kind of if you had a candy bar, or you drank some milk, and then you notice that you broke out the next day, then don't do that for about, 2 to 4 weeks, and see if things calm down and see if you have any new breakouts. If you have new breakouts, then it may not have been that. But if things go, if your face clears up, then it probably was.
It probably was. So the best rule of thumb is to eat healthy. And, look, y'all, I'm just saying this because I have to say it for myself. Healthy, but treat yourself sometimes.
Yeah. Everything in moderation, right?
That's right. One question from the audience. Do you need a moisturizer if you have oily skin?
So you do, and there are oil-free moisturizers out there that are available. I know CeraVe has one. It's CeraVe PM. It's non-comedogenic. I don't quote me on this, but I know Cetaphil has an oil-free sunscreen. I don't think they have an oil-free moisturizer. But there again, it does. Even if you have oily skin, products like Cetaphil and CeraVe are still okay to use. Now, if you notice that for your particular skin that you just feel like, it is just making me way too oily to use this, then don't use it. You know what works best for you, but try different options and then decide.
Perfect. Good information. And look, to the audience, if you have questions, and thank you for the questions so far, please just drop them in the comments below. We'll get to them. And so we appreciate your input as well. Inga, and what I wanted to say, if you're a Painite and you're watching, we both went to the same college and graduated from college. So if you're Painite and you're watching, please drop a purple heart below so we'll know you are tuning in. Let's see. So Inga, let's talk about some of the most common skin issues you've had to treat in your career as a dermatology family nurse practitioner.
Related to the mask?
Related to the mask and unrelated to the masks.
Okay. So what we do at our practice or in dermatology in general is we care for skin and skincare infections. So we treat skin on the entire body, which that's the largest organ that we have. So anything you have on the skin, we treat. Doesn't matter where it is, we treat it from head to toe. So,
from the rooter to the tutor.
From the rooter, that came to mind first, but I didn't say it. From the rooter to the tutor, we see it all. If it's on the skin, we treat it.
And so since we've had to wear masks, and forgive me if this is a repeat question, but since we've had to wear masks, are you seeing an influx of people coming in for skin issues?
Yeah, yes, I am. New skin issues like acne, and even exacerbation of current skin issues like rosacea, atopic dermatitis, or eczema, seborrheic dermatitis, and contact dermatitis. I mean, we're not used to it. No. So, a lot of people are having issues with it, and we can help.
Yeah. And I also want to say this because, acne is very troublesome. I deal with my share of it myself. But I also am an advocate for mask wearing. And for those of you watching, this is in no way to tell you to stop wearing your masks. Wear your masks, but it's good to be armed with information to help you with any flare-ups you may have. And even if you're not, this is just good information for you to use for your skincare routine.
Polly, may I add something, please? If you're noticing that at-home treatment is not working. I know that you mentioned earlier about maybe not being able to go to a dermatologist's office. Don't let not having insurance deter you from seeing a dermatologist or a dermatology nurse practitioner. Keep in mind that most offices, dermatology and non-dermatology offices, offer cash pay prices for patients who either don't want to use their insurance because it's not that great or don't have any insurance. Mm-hmm. So call the office, check on that, because they can give you that information over the phone before you even make your appointment.
And that's very important information, because sometimes, like you said, over-the-counter or home treatments may not work because there might be something else going on. And you need the medical expertise and the experts to help you clear that up.
Right.
Let's see. Hold on, Inga. I just want to make sure I've covered some of those major questions as it relates to, yes. So long term, because I suspect we'll have to wear masks for a while. What, in your opinion, is the long-term impact on our skin health? Should we have to wear masks indefinitely?
In my opinion, in my professional opinion, it hasn't been long enough to be able to evaluate what the long-term effects of masks will be, if there will be any. I think that overall it's just extremely important to take care of your skin.
No matter what.
No matter what, mask or not.
Yeah.
Take care of it.
Now, I'm not going to tell how old I am, but I did have a birthday. And so I turned
Happy birthday.
Thank you. I did turn 1 year older. So for those of us in our peer group, what are some tips you can advise us with to make sure our skin remains supple and healthy and vibrant and going? Of course, your skincare routine using the Cetaphil or whatever cleanser you choose to use. What's the key to long-lasting skin health? And
moisturize. My ongoing joke to my patients, or my little saying to my patients, is the more birthdays we have, the more our skin changes. And of course, we lose some of that elasticity. We lose some of that suppleness in our skin, and we have to replace it sometimes with moisturizers that have ceramides or to help make our skin more plump. So it's not a skin plumper, but it helps to make our skin more supple.
Make it more supple. Supple skin is something we all want. Because, but that then brings up the issue for those with dry skin. In my experience, although oily skin is burdensome sometimes, I like to say, well, it keeps my skin supple. But for drier skin, the oil is not there to keep it necessarily vibrant and plump. So what types of moisturizers are good for those with dry skin?
So these are good for dry skin as well, but you got to be mindful too of how you're washing your face. You don't want to use hot water. You want to use warm to cool water. Hot water dries your skin out. And if you already have issues with dry skin, you're just going to make your skin even more dry. So you want to use cool water or tap water to wash your face. I know back in the day, Mama said use hot water and scrub your face. But that is just not the correct information. You want to use water that's warm to cool. What happens is you strip your skin of the natural oily barrier that you have. And the example I always like to use is think of a cast iron skillet after you fry something in it. And you take out whatever you fried, and the oil that's left in the skillet will solidify if you leave it sitting out on the stove, right? But as soon as you run it under that hot water, it starts to dissipate. That's what the hot water does to our skin. It makes that oily layer dissipate, leaving it dry and potentially itchy and irritated.
I never even imagined. I've never even imagined. That's a really good analogy. And look, for those of you, if you go and tell your mom that you're starting to use lukewarm water on your skin, and she doesn't tell her, no, Inga said.
That's right. You can use me. You can blame me for it.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Okay, so Inga, we've talked about masking, we've talked about skin products and skincare, but I failed to ask you to give us a breakdown of the layers of the skin and what's happening when acne develops. So we have, I guess, 3 or 4 layers of skin. Talk to us about what that is, what they look like, and how this whole acne piece comes into play.
So what's happening with the type of acne that is caused by the mask is inflammatory acne. It's inflammation. So there are, when I talked earlier about high glycemic index foods like sugar. Sugar causes inflammation, which makes us more prone to acne. The bacteria that is caused by us breathing into these masks and the moisture and the potentially the sweat that we're experiencing underneath here, all of that has a compound effect in causing inflammation on the skin, and that's where you see the breakouts.
Right. And so the acne starts at that first layer, or does it start at that first layer? Is it topical?
It's just a little deeper than that. I mean, it's inflammation specifically on the surface of the skin.
That's good stuff. Good stuff. Now, another viewer wants to know: does it matter if you wash your face in the shower or the sink?
No, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Whichever is it's your personal preference.
All right. Let's see. Now, we were talking offline about cosmetic treatments, and that's certainly not the premise of this show, but you were sharing with me if you're experiencing some issues right now with your skin, it's best to kind of stay away from cosmetic treatments. Can you talk to us a little bit about that and how that treatment could potentially exacerbate the issues that you're having?
Right. So cosmetic treatments like exfoliating treatments like dermaplaning or chemical peels, those can be very irritating to the skin. And if you already have some level of irritation going on, it's just going to compound the problem. You're going to make it even more irritating, and you can have other breakouts all over your face. So I would say just keep it simple. And don't be extra.
Right.
Don't get not chemicals, but don't get the cleansers with those exfoliating cleansers or those little beads, little rough beads. Don't use those. Don't use any of the exfoliating tools like those fancy exfoliating brushes that everybody likes to spend money on. Those they can be very expensive. Don't do it. It's too rough for the face. And if you already have something going on your face, you're just going to aggravate it. And when you aggravate your face will get angry at you, and it will break out even more. So you just want to keep that calmed all the way down. And the way to do that is to be as gentle as possible to your skin.
Gentle as possible. Let's see. So one viewer wants to know, what do you suggest for itchy skin? So if you're experiencing dryness and itchiness and maybe itchiness not necessarily related to dryness of the skin.
Well, that would depend on what you're applying to your skin. All products aren't good for your skin. And if you are applying a particular product and you're noticing that it's causing some itching, then you don't need to put that on your face.
Mhm.
You need to always make sure that it's something without fragrance. Any product that you're applying to your face, you want to make sure that it doesn't have any smell to it. I don't care whether it's a perfumey smell or if it's a strong, pungent smell. You want something that's odorless, something that's free and clear.
Inga, you know what? After talking to you tonight, I'm just gonna have to throw away all my products.
Throw away everything.
Start from scratch.
Seriously.
And it does make sense.
Mhm.
Simplicity is the best rule of thumb. It's the best.
Yeah, it is. I mean, you don't need, I know people like to use witch hazel or some type of toner on the face and a mask and all that. You don't need those things. There is no research to support that a toner is necessary to have in your skincare routine. There's nothing out there. All you don't even need a toner. Not even if you have acne, you don't need it.
Really?
Mm-hmm. You don't need it, and especially not witch hazel. That will dry your skin out.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
I've used witch hazel before. Now, I
Hey,
will say,
I have to.
I will say, when I first started using the witch hazel, I mean, my skin was beautiful, but then
Mm-hmm.
naturally over time, I
Uh-huh.
noticed a breakdown. And then I thought, well, this stuff doesn't work.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Yeah, I'm telling you. And sometimes you can use products so much that your skin gets used to it. But
Yeah.
something as harsh as witch hazel. I mean, I've heard the gamut of products that people use on their face. Alcohol, witch
Mhm.
hazel, toners that have this floral or just wonderful scent that's supposed to make you feel so good. You don't need all of that.
Oh, wow. Yeah, well, this has been eye-opening for me, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to find out if the audience has any more questions. I think there's one about turmeric soap. Let's see.
Turmeric.
Should you use turmeric soap? Let's see. Should you use turmeric soap on the skin as it relates to inflammation? Because this is an herb that helps.
Right.
Is there any thoughts you might have on that?
So I'm not familiar with turmeric soap that's on the market that's dermatology recommended.
Mm-hmm.
I would recommend that you stay away from products, soaps with essential oils or herbs or anything in them, because you don't know what else is in the soap. You don't know how your skin is going to respond to that particular ingredient. It's safest to say that you stick with something that's simple. When you start adding all of this turmeric and some people use black soap, and I get it. It works for some people, but I don't necessarily recommend it because there are different types of black soap, and you got different types of ingredients and additives in the bar itself. But it's best to stick with something that has nothing in it.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a fan. I love black soap. I love it primarily for washing, bathing, but
Mm-hmm.
oh, Inga. Oh my gosh.
I know. I'm just taking away everything.
But no, this information is so important and it's so timely.
Mm-hmm.
We have time
Mm-hmm.
for 2 more questions, and then we're going to have to call it a night. But I do have, let's see. Well, no, one audience member wants to know, is peroxide a good skin cleanser? No.
No.
Yes.
No peroxide, no alcohol, no anything, no witch hazel, no none of that stuff.
Yeah. And Inga, you made a very important comment about your skin getting used to the product. What should one do when that happens? When you're using a gentle cleanser and then over time you're noticing that it's not working anymore?
Then you switch to a different gentle cleanser.
Mm-hmm.
So if you've been using Cetaphil, because I have had not very many, but maybe one patient say to me that Cetaphil broke them out, which it's unheard of to me, but it doesn't mean that it can't happen. I then recommend a different product. Now, my next go-to is Vanity Cream. I don't know if you've ever heard of that, but it's spelled with a V, like Victor. And it's called Vanity Cream. I love, love, love the Vanity Cream bar. They have a bar as well as a moisturizer, and they have a liquid cleanser. They have actually a whole line of products, deodorant, shampoo, and everything. But I particularly recommend the bar cleanser, which is moisturizing, as well as their moisturizing cream. And it's free of parabens. There's no lanolin. There's nothing in it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And this is somewhat piggybacking off of some of the other questions about products that you should, are they feasible? So this
stay away from Bath and Body Works.
Oh gosh, now that's a definite no-no.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the strips, on the Biore strips for blackheads? Those things that you put it on your face and then you peel it off and
over-counter extractors like that. I mean, if it works for you, I'm not going to take that away from you unless it's causing you some type of irritation. I say if it works for you, then use it, because it's not particularly anything that you're using. You're just using that to get rid of your blackheads. I don't necessarily recommend pulling out your blackheads or popping your bumps or doing anything of that nature. If you take care of your skin, you may not have them anyway.
Now that's the truth. That is true. And you know, it's enlightening to know that, and it's much easier on your wallet too, to know that simplicity is the best rule of thumb. You can certainly, like you said, you know, y'all, Inga is not taking away your product. Her expert. Because it'll take a minute for me to stop using black soap.
Yeah, no, keep using it. It's working for you. Keep using it. Let me just say too, Paulette, that if you do need to come into the office, we do have prescription products that work really well for problems like blackheads and inflammation or inflammatory acne. So, you know, if you can't get yourself cleared up with just your general skincare, then don't hesitate to make an appointment with a dermatologist or a dermatology nurse practitioner so that you can get a medical prescription and a routine, a regimen with medication.
That's also good information because sometimes, like we said, over the counter may not work for you.
Right.
Inga and audience, thank you so much for the questions. We have, my executive producer is telling me we have one more question.
Okay.
Eczema on my hands has gone crazy with the sanitizer and hand washing. Any suggestion besides sleeping in cotton gloves with Acupore?
So this person and I can totally relate to it.
I can too.
Yeah, my hands were terrible. They were terrible. I was scared and embarrassed to go out in public. Literally, they were terrible.
I know. It can get really bad. It can get really bad. So with this sanitizer and us washing our hands constantly, your eczema, and even if you don't have eczema, you might have it now from having to use the sanitizer so much because it just dries your hand out. And eczema is an inflammatory skin condition that loves dry skin. So when our skin is dry, it is more prone to conditions like eczema. I recommend doing some things, making some changes at home, like to your hand soap. I know you can't really do anything about it at work, but fragrance-free hand soaps, free and clear. Make sure they're free and clear. Everything that says natural is not natural because it has ingredients that are non-natural ingredients in it sometimes. But I recommend a free and clear hand soap at home, including your dishwashing detergent, and wash your clothes in fragrance-free laundry detergents. Also, it's important to keep your hands moisturized. Now, I don't know what line of work the person who asked the question does, but it wouldn't hurt to keep a good moisturizing cream in your pocket so that you can moisturize after every hand wash. There is one particular one that I love. It's not only moisturizing, but it serves as a barrier to keep some of that moisture in, and it's called Cutamol. C-U-T, I think it's C-U-T-A-M-O-L, and it's very thick because it is a barrier cream as well as a moisturizer, but it will last a couple hand washes. So if you put it on your hands, it helps to keep it moisturized, and you can wash your hands 2 more times and your hands will still feel moisturized before you have to reapply. Now, keep in mind that it takes a little while to clear that up. If you're noticing that you've been moisturizing constantly with a thick moisturizing cream and your hands are still broken out, then you need to see a dermatology professional for some medication because you need to take it to the next level.
Right. Very good point. Very good point. And thank you so much for that question. That's a superb question. So Inga, I missed this on the outset, but the purpose of profiles is to certainly highlight people who are doing amazing things in their community. You're certainly doing a service to people who need you. You're welcome. And I also hope that the information that's shared provides some information, not information, but inspiration, and empowers the viewers to take the steps that they need to make the changes or additions that they need to make in their lives. And so now I'd like to ask you, Inga, and I didn't ask you this on the, before the broadcast, but I want to know from you, what inspires you? What inspires Inga? What empowers Inga? Because, in this day and age, we need a little more inspiration. We need to feel empowered to act on that inspiration. So what inspires you?
I love my job. Absolutely love being a dermatology professional. And it inspires me when I help a patient and their treatment is successful. I mean, that to me, that means all the world to me, to see them happy and to feel helpless coming to me in the first place and hopeless, and to know that I was able to make a difference in that person's life. It's huge.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Gratifying, rewarding.
Yeah, it is.
And you can go to bed at night thinking, gosh, I've done my duty for today.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's wonderful. Well, Inga, it's been wonderful reconnecting with you. It's been forever. It truly has.
It has. Thank you so much. It was an honor to be able to participate in this, Paulette. Thank you so much for inviting me.
And thank you for saying yes. And to the audience, if you have any more questions, and Inga, I forgot to ask you this, but on the back end, when we end the broadcast, can you just go through the feed and see if there are any other questions that?
Sure.
So not to worry, your question will get answered. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you to our classmates who are watching. We really appreciate the support. And join me next Saturday where I'll be talking with Heather Godell Parker. She is a producer, a vocalist, a designer, and she just dropped her freshman album, Shine. And she'll be here to talk all about it. So I'm so excited about that. And make sure if you haven't liked this page, like the page, because this is where you'll see the updates first. Thank you again for watching. And in all you do, show a little kindness.
Absolutely.
Extend a little grace. And certainly be gentle with yourself. Thank you, friends. Good night, and we'll see you next Saturday. Bye-bye.